Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Robbie Basel Show. Apologies for the recent mess with the schedule. The rest of the month, it's probably going to be Wednesday and Saturday uploads, but for now, I'm leaving the headline as Tuesday and Friday. But once we get back to school, I actually might even go back to Monday, Friday. So upload schedule kinda a mess, but no, what's not a mess? The like and subscribe button. Go down, hit those below. Would be greatly appreciated because we have a lot to talk about. And while my voice may be a complete disaster, no, it's not a disaster. Some of the Olympics, some of them, albeit, are a total mess, controversial, this and that. But the Olympics, some of them, have brought incredible storylines. You had the incredible men's 100-meter race, which is what we're opening with today, which was Noah Lyles taking gold, shutting up the NBA haters, which I thought was awesome. Now, granted, when the race ended, I thought one of the Jamaicans won it. I'm forgetting his name now, which is kind of embarrassing. But it turns out, me knowing track, it's the shoulder. I think it's like upper body. It's like head, shoulder first, not the foot. And a lot of people got that confused on Sunday, and it was kind of funny, to be honest. But Noah Lyles shutting up the NBA, it was great. And I know a lot of America didn't like, some of America didn't like him, but at the end of the day, Noah Lyles, fastest man in the world. We had an incredible moment in the men's cycling road race where like a guy had a flat tire with 2 miles to go and still won. And then did the Jude Bellingham celebration. It kind of like looked like Jude Bellingham, arms out, right with like a extreme wide shot with the Eiffel Tower right behind him. It was kind of sick. We had some other great moments, some other controversial moments that we're not talking about here because I don't want to get possibly canceled, and I don't want people to talk about like politics and all that stuff on this channel, which is not what we're here to do. We are here to talk about sports and sports only. And speaking of sports and sports only, we had men's soccer, which was completely outrageous, and that is where we are starting uh, today's video. In terms of graphics and all that, that is where we are starting. Men's soccer, which has been completely chaotic for the most part. Granted, there's been a lot of things that were good. We had the group stage, and it kind of went how I expected it. But then the semifinals came around, and we'll quickly show you. Hopefully, my camera didn't turn off for a second as I was trying to fix the graphic. Here are the quarterfinals. This is where we were at last time. We had Morocco beat the United States. This was back on August 2nd. Spain beat Japan. Egypt in penalties over Paraguay, including needing an 88th minute equalizer to send us the penalties. Then we had France beat Argentina, which set up a matchup between Egypt and France, and that's where we're starting today. Egypt and France. I have to talk about this first. What a matchup this was. Yes, you see the score on Morocco and Spain. This was crazy. France Egypt, I thought this game was going to be a total wash. France had the more reputable team, the more reputable players. They had Thierry Henry, a UEFA Champions League, Premier League winning, former invincible striker as their manager. But then Egypt comes out here and says, you know what, screw it, we're going to go come out here and play. And Mahmoud Saber scores the opener, 62nd minute goal to give the Egyptians a 1-0 lead. And when I was watching this, I had no idea what was happening because I thought France were totally screwed. But Jean-Philippe Mateta said not so fast. He scored in the 83rd minute to send us to extra time before he does it again because that's just what he does. He scores a second goal, Mateta, to go to 2-1, and then Michael Olise of Bayern Munich, by the way, scores the third in the over 100 minutes into the match. France win in extra time in a matchup that should have been way more comfortable for them. Shout out to Egypt, though, for putting up a really reputable fight. They may be really good now in Africa, but based on how this team performed, maybe they can be like top two in Africa for years to come, which is a great sign sight for them. But they might be joined in the top 2 of Africa in the future with Morocco, who put up an incredible fight this tournament, but kind of did the same thing that Egypt did. They just did it 3 hours before. And it was Morocco who scored first on a penalty by Rahimi, which put that game at 1-0. Spain, because they're Spain, then scored 2 goals in the 65th and 86th minute winner by Sanchez to put Spain in the final. Now, albeit, I will say this. Morocco at points looked better, but the more reputable team and the better team on paper and the better team on the field won. Yes, there could have been controversies in both matches, but the better coach team, the better team on the pitch, well, both of them won, which is kind of, for TV purposes, what you were hoping for. Yeah, Morocco at times looked like the better team. They had more possession. They were moving the ball better than Spain was at times. But overall, the Spanish and France, when they played Egypt, were better. And then this sets up these matchups, which take place tomorrow on Thursday, between Egypt and Morocco in Nantes. And then we go to the Parc des Princes on Friday afternoon for the men's tournament final between France and Spain. Oh, what a day it is. Colonialism is just inevitable. I mean, at this rate, colonialism has really saved both of these teams. It's France and Spain. It's like 1700s, isn't it? I'm done with the colonialism talk here. In all seriousness, the French team, led by Jean-Philippe Mateta, Olise, and a couple of other reputable players, have put on a show. And let's go back to how they got here. We'll start off with their group, which is Group A with the United States. They opened it up by struggling for about 45 minutes. Then they beat the United States. They struggled but beat Guinea. And then they went out and beat New Zealand rather predictably. Sorry if I hovered over Guinea there for a second. They then went to the knockouts, did their thing in the knockouts in the first match. They beat Argentina, fair enough. They struggled more against Egypt somehow, because that's just how this works, before setting up a final in the gold medal match against España. Spain, on the other hand, if you go to their group, I just gotta remember, they were in Group C, which was the group with Egypt, by the way. They went out in their opening match. They beat Uzbekistan with a 60-second winner by Gomez. They then beat the Dominican before putting up this disaster against Egypt, a 2-1 loss. It should have been really 2-0 at the Stade de Bordeaux, which put Spain second in their group. And if you really think about it, this wasn't supposed to happen. It was supposed to be France-Spain here. So hypothetically, we could have had we probably had France-Morocco as the final if Spain didn't lose to Egypt. So shout out to Egypt for kind of helping put on this incredible final. Egypt, I'm hoping, gets third. They're probably going to lose because Morocco's too good to lose in a match like this. They put up a brilliant fight against Spain, which is the second best team here. They won their group after beating Argentina. Because if you remember, my favorite storyline of the whole thing was the mess with Argentina in the opening match, with Rahimi scoring 2 goals, Simeone scoring to make it 2-1. They had a late goal disallowed. We had like a 2-hour delay, and the match eventually ended, which is hilarious because of that result somewhat, France didn't have to play Morocco, which Morocco could have possibly beat France, but France now plays Spain. That's how we got here. France is going to win this. They're going to win by like 2. I think they're going to win 2-0. France is too good. But also shout out to Soufiane. I suck at this. Rahimi. Shout out to this dude in Morocco. He's going to win Golden Boot unless Mateta scores like 2 goals, which is very possible. Fermin Lopez also shout out. And Marcelo Fernandez. I didn't know who he was until this tournament started. He has 3 goals and is possibly one of the main reasons that Paraguay are even here. But here's some other good goal scorers. You had 2 players for the Dominican. I thought the DR was going to get destroyed. But here's just some other French players that you might know. Alexandre Lacazette played for like Arsenal, Lyon. Like, he's very reputable. There's a lot of players that scored 1 goal. And this dude, Hamidou Diallo, scoring an own goal against Israel. Unfortunate. But I think Morocco are going to win bronze. I think France win the gold. I think they win 2-0 in a home final. That's another situation where France win gold in a home final. This time at Parc des Princes, not Stade de France, when France won the rugby gold in the tournament we talked about. But that final is going to be insane. And we'll just briefly talk about this because I got a text about this, and they said to look at what's going on in the women's tournament. We really haven't talked about this very much, so here we'll just quickly go over this because there's so much more to talk about today. But we will go over the women's tournament for the sake of it. Here are the groups. The United States is here. We'll start with France. They're really good. Canada had that controversy, if you remember, the controversy when they're like scouting teams. They had 6 points deducted and still made the knockouts, second in the group despite winning all 3 games, because that's just how this works. You don't scout teams illegally. They beat New Zealand, had the controversy. Coach gets sacked. They beat France, and then including a 102nd minute goal by Gilles. I don't know how to say that. Then that person scored again against Colombia to top the group. France and Colombia are also through. The United States, because we are inevitable, went out led by Trinity Rodman and Swanson, put 3 goals up in a span of like 10 minutes. We beat Zambia, because that's just how this works. We beat Germany, led by Sophia Smith, Swanson scoring again. And then because of Trinity Rodman and Albert, the United States wins 2-1 over Australia. This group is also headlined by the Germans, who we'll also be talking about after they beat Australia. Then they got annihilated by the U.S. and then beat Zambia. Australia did not make it because of 10 goals conceded in 3 games is honestly kind of impressive. But Group C was also pretty interesting. It was headlined by the Spanish, who opened it up with a very respectable effort by Japan. Japan scoring early, led by Fujino, but Bonmati and Caldente? Sure. Score the winner in the Stade de France. Brazil beat Nigeria, which is unfortunate for Nigeria because they lost 1-0, again led by a goal from Putellas for Spain. Brazil then lost due to 2 stoppage time goals by Japan, which is absolutely hilarious that even happened, which, fair enough. And then it was headlined by Japan beating Nigeria. They get their win over Nigeria. And then Spain, with 2 goals, including a 107th minute, this is in regulation, by the way, goal by Putellas and Del Castillo in Bordeaux to top the group. And then we had this knockout bracket. We had Brazil beat France. I did watch that, by the way. Great match. Brazil beating France 1-0. Spain then winning penalties over Colombia. We're now going to look at all the matches and just tell you how all this worked, because I remember how all this pretty much went down. In the quarterfinals, we'll start differently this time, I guess. The United States played Japan, which total mess of a game. Both teams honestly could have scored earlier on. In a battle of a rematch of the 2015 and 2011 and 2012 finals of either the World Cup or the Olympics, the United States, led by Trinity Rodman, win the match a 0-0 over Japan in a match that honestly the U.S. should have scored way earlier in. The United States did prevail, led by Trinity Rodman and Sophia Smith, because we are inevitable. Spain then played Colombia, and a 97th minute equalizer by Paredes sent Spain into extra time with Colombia. Colombia are about, I think, like 12 minutes away from like winning 2-0, but then they allowed Hermoso to score, and then Paredes, and then we went to penalties. Colombia, not really known for penalties, went out and lost because Spain is inevitable. Spain advances to the semifinals, where they would be probably playing like France or Brazil at this point. By the way, the player that was who scored the goal was Jenny Hermoso, which we're not going to talk about that situation with Jenny Hermoso, with the Spanish FA president or whatever. Canada played Germany in the most boring game possible. Germany went to penalties. They won because it's Germany. The less said about that match, the better. It was not very good. But the other match was insanity. Brazil, in essentially a road match for them at the in Nantes, went out led by Gabi Bortillo and won over France. Sure, 1-0. Works for me, big dog. Then the semifinals happen, and Sophia Smith and the United States are inevitable. even though the United States went to extra time again, the United States prevails over the Germans. This was last night. Well, in France it was. It was yesterday. The United States is inevitable. They went out and won. Germany lost. They'll play in the bronze medal match. Fair play to the Germans. Sorry about that. They're a really strong group. They have a lot of good players. Also, shout out Emma Hayes. For those who don't know who Emma Hayes is, Emma Hayes, I believe, coached Iona. Hold on. Didn't Emma Hayes, hold on. I can just look at her Wikipedia. Hold on. Stop the sharing. Didn't Emma Hayes coach at Iona? Yeah. In 2003, chat. And this is not even the first person who will win an Olympic medal from Iona. Shout out to Juana Camilion of Spanish basketball, who won silver in the women's 3-on-3 basketball tournament. We were all hoping she won gold. She didn't. They went out and lost in the final. So she wins the silver medal, which is the first Iona person ever to win a medal in the Olympics. Fair play to her. We are massive. But back to Emma Hayes. She would be the first former Iona coach, I believe, to win gold at an Olympics. I believe that's the situation. I think. But I don't know, honestly, at this point. United States advances. Then we had this game between Brazil and Spain. Honestly, more chaos. Paredes' own goal started the match off, which I thought nothing was going to happen afterwards. But Gabby Portillo and Adriana had different plans. It was 3-0 until Duda Sampaio made it 3-1. Got a little uncomfortable for Brazil, though they did get another goal. So did Spain. It ends 4-2. Less said about that game, the better. Which sets us up for these matches. Now, I'll be honest with you. I did not expect this to be the final. If you look at the bracket again, Brazil, who I believe finished like third in their group. Is that what it was? Yeah, they finished at third in their group and made it this far. Absurd. I think the United States, unbiased pick here, I think the United States will win the final. Best team in the field, best team on paper. I think they're going to win 1-0 over Brazil. I'm going to say Germany or Spain looked really good. I would say Spain will win the bronze. I think that Spain-Germany game is honestly going to be a better match, but we will see. I do think the United States takes it home. Shout out Emma Hayes. She wins gold for the United States. And the first, like I said, I'm not 100% sure, but I believe she's the first former Iona coach to win a gold medal in the Olympics. Fair play. We need more sports. What do we got? Oh, basketball. Hell yeah. Men's basketball, last time we were here, we'll just quickly go over we had the end of the group stage because we were waiting on the United States Serbia group to finish. And I'll just say it real quick. Serbia beat South Sudan in the second game. The United States beat Puerto Rico. They were losing at one point, but the United States did win. But the other match is kind of controversial because the South Sudan team didn't get a lot of calls at all, which was kind of annoying because they should have. This game should have been way closer, and it should have been in favor of South Sudan. But because of the point differential, South Sudan is out despite winning a game. Heartbreak for South Sudan. They miss out by 9 points in the point differential. You hate to see it. But that set up this knockout bracket, which started, I believe, like yesterday or like 2 days ago. Honestly, I have no idea. Let's take a look at it. That's for sure. We opened it up with France and Canada. No, we didn't. We opened it up with Germany, Greece. My fault. Franz Wagner is too good. Giannis is here, but Franz Wagner doing the job. Horrendous first quarter. I remember watching the first quarter on my phone from yesterday. Yes, this is what I was doing during my work yesterday. I know. I was watching the highlights back yesterday of this game. Other games I did watch on my phone. The first quarter was terrible. Franz Wagner, though, is good. They come out and win 76-63. Very low-scoring affair. Germany advances. Serbia then played Australia. Very odd game. I thought the Serbs would dominate. They kind of didn't. I'll be honest, they kind of didn't. Jokic is here, though. 21 points and 14 rebounds, 9 assists for Nikola Jokic. He goes on to win this game for Serbia, 95-90 in overtime. France played Canada. Very weird matchup, led by Yabusele and Wembanyama. Shai Gilgeous' 27 points, not enough. France wins. United States played Brazil in the final matchup. Devin Booker leading the way with points with 18. Joel Embiid also having a fairly respectable game. That was a bigger headline as well. United States dominate. Shout to Caboclo with 30. Not enough. United States on top. So that sets up these games. United States, Serbia, a rematch of the group stage. And then France and Germany were not in the same group, right? I don't think so. Oh, they were. So Group A just sucked, I guess. I don't know how to say it. France, that group, but Group A is eliminated. Hate to see it. We have a rematch in Group B and a rematch in Group C, because that's how this works. Very weird. Hold on. I gotta look at this again. Why is this happening? Why? I don't understand. Is it so difficult to seed teams? I just don't understand. I'm so confused. Are you? Hold on, chat. Hold on, chat. I'm not streaming. Are you guys confused by this? Like, why they do this? There's no need to have seeded, unseeded teams. This ain't the Champions League, okay? Just seed the teams like normal tournaments do. I don't understand how that's so hard. Point differential can be a thing, sure. But I just don't get it. Jesus. But that's just how it works, and we have to work with it. We'll take a look at France and Germany, which is tomorrow. The bronze medal, the gold medal game, I think is on Saturday, so we will be able to talk. I'll try to make the video before the gold medal game at the Accra Arena. It's gonna be an interesting one. United States, Serbia, it was a close game for most of it, if I remember correctly. The United States playing a close one. It was close for the majority of it. The second half was just the United States being the United States. It's going to come down to if the depth can help Jokic. I mean, Nikola Jokic is one of the best, if not the best player in the world. But when they had a down game against a team like a Puerto Rico, which was really shocking, probably just resting him at that point. Yeah, they had Perdusev, sure, lead the way with 15 points. Bogdanovic had 30. You're going to need a performance like that to go out and beat the United States. The United States has probably the best team on paper. You go match them up player to player, the United States has the best team here. I don't think that's really up for debate. The issue is going to be that they have holes at times in some of these matches, which some teams really haven't been able to fully take advantage of. What do I mean by that? Let's look at some of the U.S. games. You go out here, and yeah, the first two quarters against Serbia, not very good. You're leading by, what is that, 8 at the half? 9? Serbia could have taken more advantage of something like that. South Sudan, second half was like okay. I mean, South Sudan won the second half, but the first half was not very close. And then Puerto Rico played the worst quarter, I think, of the whole tournament, getting outscored 39-16 in the second quarter. But they were in the least competitive group. And then they come out against Brazil, which I had not a lot of faith in Brazil. I mean, I thought they would cause some problems because they're a very physical group of players. But they didn't really cause a lot of problems. I mean, the third quarter was absurd, but it could have been way closer if you made that first half more manageable. I think the United States should win gold. They are the best team here. But annoying adversity could get in their way. I don't think it's from the Noah Lyles situation at all. I don't think it's going to be related whatsoever to that, really. But it's going to come down to how do they come up against these bigger teams. Yes, they get to play Serbia again, but I think Serbia have the chance to adjust, go man for man and try and come out and win this. I mean, they did it against some reputable teams. They did it really well in the knockouts. I mean, they went out here and beat Australia, which is a very respectable team, by the way, led by Nikola Jokic, but they don't have that A-plus player like the 10 that the U.S. do. So it's going to be interesting. I'm picking the U.S. to beat Serbia only because they're better man for man. I think Serbia has the chance to upset the United States. Anyone can upset anyone on any certain day. That's not the question. The question is going to be, does anyone, and I mean any of the teams remaining, your France's, Germany, or Serbia, can anyone stay in the game long enough to come out and beat the United States? That's the question going forward. I have the U.S. winning. In the other game, the France home crowd, I think, is really going to help. I mean, if you look at how they played in the first game, didn't France win the first game? No, they lost. The Germans, led by Franz Wagner and Dennis Schroeder. Franz Wagner has actually put up a very respectable tournament. I'll give it to him. But I think that the French could get their revenge. I'm going to go Germany again. Win it again. 2-for-2 for the Germans, which sets up a U.S.-Germany final. The Germans have had a very strong tournament. The Germans, I mean, they were able to dethrone Giannis Antetokounmpo. They've beaten France already. They come out, they beat Brazil. They come out and beat Japan. They've done the job that they needed to do, and they've done it pretty convincingly in some of these contests. You look at the Germans, they beat Japan by 20. They beat Brazil by over 10. And the first time these two played, Germany won by 14. But France had the worst offensive quarter of the tournament. 9 points in the second quarter. So erase that quarter. This game's going to be much closer than the United States against Serbia. I think so. However, it's going to come down to how can France improve on offense. Their offense has been they haven't really scored a lot. And I think 82 is fine. The Germans, they played a very good defensive team in the Greeks, and they went out and beat the Greeks. Canada, respectfully, is not that great. They just went better man for man at points in a group with Spain, Greece, and Australia, which begs the question, how was Spain so bad? But Canada beat the teams they had to beat, but all the other teams in that group were not good. So it worries me a little bit for the Germans. But France riding the momentum, I could see them winning as well. It's going to be an interesting rest of the tournament. It's so hard to pick that other matchup. I said Germany, but don't be surprised if France is there. Over to golf, which is where we're going to next. And we had a very interesting golf tournament. So if you remember, we're going to go day by day here to break down how this went. So this is the leaderboard after the first day. This is the leaderboard after the second day. And this is where we were at after the video was recorded last. The last video was recorded. We were led by Tommy Fleetwood, Hideki Matsuyama, and Xander Schauffele. John Rahm, Tomas Dietrich, Tom Kim, and C.T. Pan were right behind them. I was looking at John Rahm to win it. Well, John Rahm in the third round put up a very good score, went up to 14 under, was tied with Xander for the lead. Tommy Fleetwood, who I picked to get to medal in this, finished the third day in third, right behind Rahm and Schauffele. Nikolai Højgaard just impressed everyone, shot 62, was right in it too, with Hideki Matsuyama falling off a little bit, shooting 71. We had Rory May have a good day, shoot 66. But here comes Scotty Scheffler. Go out and shoot 67 again. He was at minus 10-4 back. And then we had the rest of the group at 9 under and below. This is how we finished. Now you're probably asking yourself, what the hell happened to Rahm? Well, Scotty Scheffler's back nine was possibly the greatest thing I've ever seen. He went out. Oh, well, let's go find the scorecard. I want to find this because the back nine, he finished at like 29 or 30 or something. Scotty Scheffler closes with 62, 29 on the back nine. So he shot like 6-7 under on the back nine to even be in this position. which is insane. You don't see that very often. So Scotty wins gold. I got that wrong. Tommy Fleetwood medaled. So I got one of them at least. I think I did predict him to get silver, which fair play to me. Hideki Matsuyama, very respectable final day shot, 65. John Rahm falls apart on the last 3 holes to give Scotty Scheffler the gold medal, back-to-back gold medals for the United States. And if you remember the history of golf in the Olympics, it's only the third time, it's the third consecutive Olympics that golf has even been in it. There's like a 100-year period where golf was not in the Olympics. Well, it's back, and the U.S. look really good. They've won back-to-back medals after Justin Rose went out and won the gold in Rio. You saw Xander win the gold in Japan, and now here comes Scotty, number 1 player in the world, one of the top players in the game, coming out here, shoots 62 in the final round, tournament tied for the tournament, low 6 with a 62, and comes out and wins. Shout out to a couple of players, led by Victor Perez for France. Very respectable 4th place finish, put up a good fight. Rory McIlroy being in the mix as well, you love to see it. John Rahm had the aforementioned collapse, and here's the rest of the leaderboard. Xander struggles in the final round, shoots 72 over 73. We had Wyndham Clark struggle on day 1, bounce back really strong, race the 4 over first day. He's in the mix. We had CT Pan, who was great in the first 2 days, struggle on the last 2 days, shoot even par overall. We had a lot of good scores. Victor Hovland was the big shocker for me, 75 second day. If I could find my cursor right here, 75, not very good. We had a lot of good players. We had a couple DNFs with Matt Fitzpatrick and let's try it here. I'm not even gonna try it. With one of the Thailand players, Kong Watami. I know how to say this one. It's Kiradech Apibinrap, but this one I've never really heard of that player before. I'll be honest. But a very good field, a strong field. And a field that provided a lot of fun, I will say that. The Olympic golf down the stretch was total insanity, and that's kind of what you're hoping for. Just like men's tennis, which is how our last Olympic talk of the day. Men's singles went down to the wire, and we were at the final of men's tennis, and it was won in back-to-back tiebreakers by Novak Djokovic. So I got that right. We got a gold medalist right. I gotta check the rest of it, because I honestly don't remember who I had winning. I think I had Novak and No, I think I had Novak. I had Tommy Paul, I think, win his section, which is kind of not great. I think I had like Musetti. I knew Musetti I had going far, and I had the at least 2 quarterfinals matchups, absolutely 3 quarterfinal matchups on the money. I don't think I definitely did not have a Asame going that far, but the medals was Alcaraz gold, Novak gold, wins his first gold medal, Alcaraz silver, Musetti bronze, kind of how I thought it was going to go. But I'll just recap it like this. Men's tennis was a ton of intrigue. It had a lot of intrigue. It brought us a lot of unexpected results in some areas. Some expected results for sure, but some very unexpected results. And a ton of players to watch out for as we get ready for the U.S. Open later this month and into September. Who are some players to watch out for as we get ready for the U.S. Open? How is Aguru Eliasime going to ride the momentum of getting into the bronze medal match, making a semifinal? How is he going to respond? It's one headline out of Section 3. Is Tommy Paul ever going to be Alcaraz again? I mean, Tommy Paul, who, albeit, didn't have one of the top players in his section, I believe, due to someone withdrawing. De Minaur withdrew. How is De Minaur going to respond after the hip injury? We had Alcaraz go through a very easy draw. If he had a little bit of a tougher draw, how would he respond? I think he'd respond fine, but it's just something to watch out for in the future. Can Hugo Humbert respond better? He lost early to Cerundolo. How is Medvedev going to respond after losing to the aforementioned Aguru Eliasime? where is Taylor Fritz going to stand? I mean, did not have the best tournament, got eliminated in the third round, was dropping sets to Jack Draper, a match that he should have honestly dominated. He was dropped the opening set, won the next two. He dropped both sets in the match to Musetti. I mean, how is he going to respond? He needs to be better, just like Sebastian Baez, who was not great against Stefanos Tsitsipas. How will Baez? I mean, granted, the clay court season really is done. What version of Sebastian Baez are we going to see? Are we going to see Novak at top form when the U.S. Open rolls around? Is Rafa even in the U.S. Open mix? I honestly don't even know anymore. But the men's tournament, great show. It was a lot of fun. The women's singles was won by a player who I counted out the whole time. Qinwen Zheng, the number 6 player in the tournament, wins gold for China. Donna Vekic wins silver. Iga Swiatek goes bronze. I really counted out Zheng like the whole time. Zhang Qinwen put up an incredible fight all tournament long. And when I knew I was going to be wrong. When she played that match against Kerber in the quarters, she lost the opening set. And then Zhang Qinwen responded well, winning both sets remaining, including a 8-6 tiebreaker over Kerber. But then she beat Swiatek in straights, and that's when you probably knew that Zhang was going to win this. Because I think we all know she's better than Donna Vekic. The questions going forward are what happened to the lower seeds, the lower seeded players. Your Leo Fernandez, Caroline Garcia, Deanna Schneider, Haddad Maya, Emma Navarro, Ostapenko, Sakari, Jess Pegula, Paolini. None of them made the quarters. Like, that's absurd to think about how good the women's game is. It's a bunch of different types of players coming out here. And the women's game, I think, as we get ready for the U.S. Open, is more unpredictable than ever. There's so many talented players. Even some that were... Same with the men's set as well. But there's a lot of great players that just weren't here. It's amazing how good the tennis game is right now. Yet, granted, yes, there is a vast group of people here in the United States and abroad that don't like tennis, are playing pickleball. They're playing paddle, I think is the European one with the walls and all that. And it's just basically indoor, like closed in pickleball, but with like a paddle. I don't really know how to explain it. But how intriguing the tennis game is now, how many different winners there are. It's going to be interesting if the tennis world can stay up, can continue to thrive. But the women's game is in a very intriguing spot, and there's a lot of intriguing players to watch out for on the road to the U.S. Open. Zheng was one of them, obviously, but the responses at the other side are really intriguing. Headlined by Coco Gauff, who lost to the aforementioned Donna Vekic in the third round. Maria Sakkari out in the third round. Paolini out in the third round. Emma Navarro out in the third round. But then you look at I think we had two seeded quarterfinals. 2. And out of the unseeded quarterfinals, only one of the we had an unseeded player in the semifinals. I did not expect that out of the women's draw. And of course, it was a player that had a very tough name pronunciation with Anna Karolina Shmedlova. Close enough. It's Slovakian. I'm not good with the Slovakian names. Both tennis tournaments were intriguing. There's a lot of players to watch out for as we continue to go down the road. After the Olympics, get ready for the U.S. Open. But really, all we now know is that there's a couple of seasons that are upon us. U.S. Open for tennis. We are heading down the final stretch of the PGA Tour season. But there are other seasons that are just getting ready to kick off. We have the Premier League, which kicks off next week, a week from Friday. We will have a video. I just don't know when it's going to be recorded. We are doing Premier League predictions again. I don't know if it's going to be with a guest. I'm working on that. Don't worry. Video out next week. Hopefully the Friday video will be that. We will see. Also might not be edited, but we will have predictions. And we'll find a way to do the predictions, like have a graphic post for that, just like how we did last year. Additionally, we have college football, which I might be on a panel for that on a different channel. More news on that to come in the future. MLB season, we know, is winding down, but the NFL is just getting started. Preseason kicked off last week with the Hall of Fame game, but we do have some other games to watch out for that kick off tomorrow. We have the Lions and the Giants, Panthers, Patriots, Steelers, Texans, Falcons, Dolphins, Eagles and the Ravens, Commanders and Jets, Bears, Bills, Raiders, Vikings, Packers, Browns, Niners, Titans, Bengals, Bucks, Chiefs, Jags, Seahawks, Chargers, Saints, Cardinals, and then we have a couple of other games to finish off, wrap up week 1 of the preseason. Now you're probably asking yourself, Robbie, in your massive brain, who are the teams to watch out for as we get ready to go? Well, some of the teams we're going to watch out for in the preseason, and it's not really on the field stuff. It's going to be the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Steelers are in a very intriguing spot. Justin Fields will be starting a quarterback, I believe, for them on Friday. The question is going to be, are they going to be able to land Brandon Ayuk? Remember, the 49ers are in trade talks, are trying to trade Brandon Ayuk. There were multiple teams in on a move possibly for Brandon Ayuk. Steelers are one of them. There's the Browns and then New England. Washington was in the mix too, but I don't really think they're in the mix for this. New England backed out. Pittsburgh this morning jumped really back in, and I think it's possibly close that a deal would be struck. I just don't know if the Steelers is the right team for him, but we will see. I don't know. I just don't know. It's a weird spot. I just saw a text from somebody. We have a transfer news. We'll talk about that in a minute. But the Steelers are in a weird spot. We'll see Justin Fields for the first time as a Steeler, hopefully not returning kicks, of course. It's going to be interesting to see how that goes. Falcons, Dolphins, we'll see a couple of young players. We have the Jets against the Commanders. We'll see, hopefully that game's not delayed, honestly, because that game might be delayed. New York might be getting the remains of the hurricane, which hopefully everyone's doing down south doing okay with the hurricane that hit Florida and the southeast. The Jets play Washington, I believe, at MetLife, too. East Rutherford. So they will hopefully not get the worst. It's supposed to rain. I don't even think it's supposed to rain anymore. Let me check my phone. It's not even supposed to rain anymore. So scratch what I said. It's gonna be sunny, and we will probably see Jaden Daniels make his debut. Other preseason news that we learned, we know that Christian McCaffrey is likely out for preseason. Very interesting news from San Francisco. Puka Nacua from the Los Angeles Rams is week to week. We heard, though, that he might be ready to go. He will probably be ready to go for week 1. Not many other notable injuries or things to talk about. With the Jets, they're according to Rich Cimini. I keep saying that name wrong. Sorry, Rich, if you're watching this. He was talking about how the Jets were getting thin at receiver. Mike Williams is out, of course, because he's still on the PUP list. But there's a couple of other depth pieces that got injured as well. There's a couple of players that he told to watch out for. I just don't really remember all of their names. But if you're a Jets fan, watch week 1. There's going to be some couple of players that are going to make the team. I know Xavier Gibson's probably out for Saturday, but it's going to be a wait and see. Caleb Williams, I don't think is playing in the preseason this year, but is he out for preseason? I haven't really paid attention to this, so Yes, I am typing this out with one hand, so don't worry about it. We don't. They likely think he'll play week 2, so who knows? I know. So this is technically week 2, so I think he's gonna put. We're not gonna find out till the end of the week. Yeah, there's not a lot of crazy headlines. Of course, the Niners. We already talked about the Niners, and all the rookie quarterbacks will hopefully be on display in the next couple of weeks. Broncos are an intriguing one because we heard about the Bo Nix situation that we don't even know who's going to start for them. Will it be Bo Nix? Will it be Zach Wilson? Or will it be Jarrett Stidham? I have a weird feeling they're going to start Jarrett Stidham week 1 now. They don't look good. I will say that. Also, other funny note with the Rams here, Jimmy Garoppolo might not even make the Rams roster, which is insane. Finally, for your entertainment, we have some transfer news, and we're just going to list off a couple of them, and then we'll talk about them more in depth with others. We had a couple of MLS moves, so the MLS fans get some love today. We had Marco Reus get confirmed to the Los Angeles Galaxy, and we might have Antoine Griezmann, who's like rumored to be in the mix to go to the Los Angeles to LAFC, which sure, very weird move. I know Griezmann's been linked to the MLS for like forever. It feels like now, but it would with how many French players are over there, it kind of makes sense. We had another bit of news last night, I believe, or like sometime yesterday. Dani Olmo, the player who was really great in the attacking midfield spot for Spain in the Euros, he has made a move to Barcelona. I don't know how they afforded this, but it kind of works. Apparently, the Nico Williams deal's off now, so that I guess they went with Dani Olmo instead. He's really going to improve the way they play in midfield. I love the move for them. He's a real game changer, and we saw that at the Euros with Spain's midfield sometimes struggling. Dani Olmo, for the majority, at the attacking midfield role, was able to shine more in that midfield. And how many injuries that Spanish midfield, the Barcelona midfield could have at the start of the season. It's an intriguing get, and I like the move for Barcelona. Other news, Manchester United have fallen out of the mix for Manuel Ugarte. I believe that was the news that we heard yesterday. But they're still trying to sign Nazar Mazraoui. I think it's the Mazraoui and Matthijs de Ligt moves. So I think United are going to target a different midfielder. I don't know who that's going to be. Maybe they join the Mikel Merino saga with Arsenal. Though I think Mikel Merino to Arsenal is basically done. I just don't know what they're waiting for at this point. This is why it's annoying this type of the season, because Arsenal I think could have made like 17 moves at this point. Hell, that's what Chelsea's doing. They have 45 first team players. Weird note. But back to Manchester United, they're really trying to build something. We heard from Lenny Yoro recently on Instagram. He's out for 3 months. We saw the surgery for him went successful, and he's in recovery. Hopefully, he gets a speedy recovery. I'm actually very intrigued to see him at Manchester United. Tottenham. Big news with Tottenham. They are in the mix now for Dominic Solanke from Bournemouth. Solanke, if you remember, was one of my favorite players from last season. From Bournemouth, scored a ton of goals, was their best player, real game changer. Tottenham has joined the mix to be in the race for Solanke. They're really the only one. Solanke gave the green light to the move, so Tottenham now have to negotiate the contract and the transfer move. What a weird transfer that would be. I would never have expected Dominic Solanke to Tottenham. Tottenham? Yeah, no, they're going all in. They have a great team, a good manager, but they've never had a real striker. Now you get to put Son back in his natural position. Kulusevski's still there, but now they might have Dominic Solanke at the number 9. It's a great get for Tottenham. As an Arsenal fan, it pisses me off, but as a Premier League fan, it's wanting something that's really intriguing. Tottenham are making moves that are really boosting their chances of being top 4 next season. I think they're a top 4 team now. I mean, depending on Liverpool doing nothing, they're in a move for like a £60 million move. But I don't remember who it was for. But it's a very intriguing situation with Tottenham, especially if they get Solanke. They might need to get 1 or 2 more players, maybe a fullback. But Vicario is great. Romero is great. They have a solid, okay midfield. Maybe they get another midfielder as well. Remember, deadline day is just 24 days away, so it's not much left to go out there and make transfers, especially with the Premier League season beginning a week from Friday. Finally, in terms of transfer moves, the Chelsea saga continues with Conor Gallagher. However, he has made a transfer to Atletico Madrid. Atletico Madrid's making some big-time moves. They signed Conor Gallagher, and heck, they're going to sign Julian Alvarez from Manchester City for over like a package of like 95 million pounds. I'm not really good with the financial conversions, but it's up there north of 75 million. Incredible. Man City, though, might be saving their own debt, but hell, I don't even know if that's really going to help them with the FFP allegations. Alvarez wanted out. Atletico swoops in. So is Atletico Madrid going to make a run at Barcelona and Real Madrid this year? They got their number 9. They got a decent midfielder who could hold up play. Now it's going to depend on the rest of the team. It's a great move from Atletico Madrid, and I'm happy that they're making moves. They want to get better going into a European competition again. How good are they going to be? I guess we'll just have to wait and see. That is the end of today's episode of the Robbie Basel Show. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you like what you see, hit the like button down below. I'd greatly appreciate it. And hit the subscribe button. I think it would be really cool if you guys subscribe. We're bringing back the like goal. If we hit a certain number of likes, we'll go 5 likes with today's video. Then you guys will be able to pick a commentary for me to say in the next video. Well, hopefully you guys hit the like goal. But for now, I'm Robbie Basel saying so long. See you guys at the end of the week. Goodbye, everyone.